Hello, my friends, and welcome to continued coverage of GP Sao Paulo. I'm in the booth with Lucas Esper-Bertu, the Pro Tour champion. My name's Riley Knight, subbing in for Tim Willoughby. As we discussed, Lucas, Tim Willoughby currently watching a once-in-a-lifetime event, England winning a game of soccer ball. We have Diego Pellicer and Eduardo Vieira on your screens, both of these guys at 2-0. Are we going to see more Hollow One here?
Yeah, looks like it. Eduardo Vieira, a former Grand Prix champion, a great player too. He usually likes to play his mid-range decks with Thoughtseize and try to grind out and play a long game. But for this tournament, he just chose the raw power of Hollow One, a deck that is a little more complicated to play than it looks. There are a lot of sequencing decisions in the early game, so you can see a difference that skill makes in playing that deck.
Oh, wow. We might have something different here with the young Pyromancer. It could be Mardu Pyromancer instead. Of course, they do have a lot of overlap with colors and lands and that sort of thing.
Okay, this makes more sense. This is an Eduardo deck. All right.
Okay, all right. We can add that personal touch now. Now, Diego Pellicer looks to be on blue-white control, unless he's drawn a lot of islands playing Jeskai, but with that Celestial Colonnade into basic island and now a Path to Exile on the Pyromancer, yeah, I think it's looking likely to be blue-white.
Yeah, it was the breakout deck at Grand Prix Barcelona last week with 3 copies in the top 8. None of them won their quarterfinals match, so makes me wonder how good this deck really is.
Excuse me, very, very good. The best deck in the format, I have to say.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Control myself, but yeah, I know how powerful those decks can be.
We were talking, Lucas, about how you were misnamed as Lucas Esper-Bertu when you should be Lucas Mardu Bertu.
Right, the more aggressive of the shards.
Yeah.
Kind of more my play style too.
So we see Path to Exile exiling the young Pyromancer here. I have to say I'm a rusted-on fan of Celestial Colonnade. Very, very happy to see it getting up and about in recent weeks. What's its matchup look like against Pyromancer? Because this deck can grind, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be an uphill battle from Eduardo, but the game's going to be very long. There's going to be a lot of decisions. I think something that Diego needs to look out for is when to use his removal spells and really try to line up his answers perfectly to the threats that Eduardo can present. The Mardu Pyromancer deck, it can keep drawing cards with Faithless Looting and Battling Raveler, so Eduardo is not going to go down without a fight.
Looks like Pellicer here is cracking a Flooded Strand in the draw step of Eduardo Vieira. That to me says that there might be a Vendilion Click coming down. Vendilion Click, often a main deck inclusion in these white-blue decks. Yeah,
that's a nice touch. I really like how the deck can present a clock.
Nope, okay, it's Snapcaster Mage and a Bolt instead. Okay, that's I would say even better.
Yeah, it's...
sorry, a Path, I should say.
It's an interesting timing he chose to cast it. Maybe his reasoning is that if Eduardo wanted to play an instant to get a trigger of Young Pyromancer, if he does it in his turn, he's going to have his mana stranded for a while.
Here's an Inquisition of Kozilek now for Vieira, who is, still has some nice disruptive elements. Going to go after that Logic Knot by the look of things. We have as well a Spreading Seas, Jace the Mind Sculptor. Spreading Seas doesn't do a huge amount in this matchup. As you can see, Vieira's mana more or less perfect at this stage.
No, and fortunately for Eduardo, he has the Thoughtseize to take out the powerful Jace the Mind Sculptor.
That's huge.
You can see the way Eduardo played. I think he had a discard spell that he could have played on turn 1, but he decided to hold it back and wait for a more appropriate timing. And it worked out beautifully for him.
I really, really like that play here from Vieira because Pellicer was playing perfectly, right? Remove the threats, clear the board, Jace can come down, take over the game. Vieira, realizing that he has to fight his way through both a counterspell and a huge threat, sandbags that hand disruption, and now Pellicer is left with just a 2-1.
It's a completely different game with that Jace in his graveyard instead of in the battlefield drawing cards.
Field of Ruin now for Pellicer, going to get rid of that Blood Crypt. And Field of Ruin, I think, at its very best in white-blue, just purely because of the number of basics they play.
Yeah, and you can use it to supplement Spreading Seas, and you have a small land destruction or land disruption package that comes in handy against decks like Tron. Here, it's not going to do much, but he could use it to fix his colors. He chose to pick up Plains there, which means he probably has something that costs double white that he wants to play right now. Nope, just Spreading Seas. Usually this deck's looking to work through triple blue for Cryptic Command. Maybe he has already that in hand.
So Spreading Seas draws a card after turning that swamp into an island here. And that's some nice tech. I like that because often it's very awkward to sort of keep the Spreading Seas attached to the land, so just use the spreading seas as the island itself. I really like that tech there from Eduardo Vieira.
Yeah, as long as you're clear about it, it looks like an improvement. I'm going to steal that too.
Yeah, that's really nice technology. Faithless looting now from the bin. Vieira
discarding extra lands, doing exactly what the card is supposed to do.
Vieira's going to draw 2, discard another 2, so he's really digging. What's he looking for in this situation?
Bedlam Reveler. It's definitely the card he wants to play right now and try to run away with the game before Diego has a chance to draw out what was the weak hand that he was left after both discard spells by Eduardo. Some versions of Mardu Pyromancer also play Liliana of the Veil. The powerful Planeswalker would also be something that he could be looking for here.
So just looking for a threat.
Yeah, anything that makes him press his advantage that he has right now.
Fatal Push is going to even up the score here as we get rid of that 2-1. It gets sent to the bin, and now back to Palisa, who on, well, not exactly the back foot, but really doesn't have anything proactive to play. Settle the Wreckage off the top in addition to those 2 lands in hand. I mean, it's, next turn we can hustle and bustle with that Celestial Colonnade, but even that none of this is impressing me.
No, but on the other hand, Eduardo might not have found the cards he was looking for. He just passed the turn with no play. So every turn is another chance for Diego to maybe draw the Fairy or Jace or Sphinx Revelation. Anything that can get him ahead on cards.
It's incredible to think that even after the unbanning of Jace the Mind Sculptor in Modern, Teferi, a 5-drop Planeswalker.
But is it really a 5-drop?
Well, that's the thing. It's incredible that it is, not quite eclipsing, but getting very close to, it's contesting Jace as the best blue Planeswalker.
Yeah, there's added flexibility of being able to tuck away any permanent, and of course the fact that you can tap 2 lands makes Logic not something that you can play in the same turn with it. So yeah, Eduardo finds off another Faithless Looting that's very good for him as he discards away more useless cards. Oh, and that Belladron Reveler.
There's the Reveler. All right, that's what he needed now. 3 freshies off the top and a 3/4 body as well. Fantastic stuff from Vieira as a fatal push handily takes care of that Celestial Colonnade. Palisa needs something here because he is now, all of a sudden, he's on the clock.
He's in a lot of trouble. He needs to draw something fast.
See what he's found. Might be a Detention Sphere here. Nope, it's going to be Gideon of the Trials. Okay, well, that holds off the Bedlam Reveler for the time being.
Yeah, now he only has to deal with the cards that Bedlam Reveler gave to Eduardo. And I think I saw a second one right there.
Is it a second Bedlam Reveler in his hand?
Yeah.
Oh, no! So Vieira now is beginning to really shift into top gear here.
Yeah, let's see what he found this turn.
Of course, the 3/4 on the battlefield right now not doing a huge amount thanks to the Gideon of the Trials activation. 3 mana for Vieira. And it's going to be a Kolaghan's Command, 2 damage, and regrow one of those young Pyromancers? Sure.
So yeah, so he chose apparently he chose the damage mode in Gideon of the Trials. With his young Pyromancer on board, it means he's going to have a threat that can attack and do the few remaining points on Gideon over the course of 2 turns. So yeah, just good heads-up play here by Eduardo.
I really like that from Vieira because I think he has the read that Palisa has a lot of air in hand. He's got a lot of cards that don't do much. And so, making him discard an extra land is not as good as removing 2 loyalty counters from that Gideon.
Yeah, he's kind of going off right now. A second Faithless Looting discarded Lingering Souls in his graveyard. So the threats are going to keep on coming. And Diego is under a heavy amount of pressure to dig his way out of this hole, really.
Doesn't crack that Flooded Strand as well when he had previously. And, man, this is a real stinker for him. He's got Island in hand. Going to keep that Bedlam Reveler out of action and a negate. So, well, there is a Settle the Wreckage here.
Right, so... so he's probably going to use it right now. I don't imagine him not wanting to do that young Pyromancer. But as you said, like Eduardo, he's going to... Okay, so he's going to do the smart play and cast his spells before attacking. He's probably smelling the Settle the Wreckage here so he can get additional triggers for young Pyromancer.
Vieira's really impressed me with the way that he's played this.
Well, he's a very good player.
Yeah, that's right. Is that right?
He was close to being good a few seasons back. He's a Grand Prix winner. He's someone that I had the opportunity to play tasks with so many times. He's a very good technical player. Not many people know this. He's the guy behind the Lishu account on Magic Online. If you play a lot of Magic Online, you probably face him and you probably lost to him at some point.
Yeah, right. Well, right now his play has just been fantastic. He's really taken every edge and made some pretty unorthodox decisions that have actually ultimately rewarded him very handily, as we see negate on the Lingering Souls here.
Yeah, so Diego has the mana for Settle the Wreckage. You have to imagine he's going to do that right now. Or he could maybe take a risk and try to get all the creatures if Eduardo is not careful.
3 cards off the top now as Vieira plays another Bedlam Reveler. I mean, Palisa doesn't want a Settle the Wreckage here. He needs something like he just needs a Supreme
keeps going
Verdict.
off.
And he's just getting more and more. It's unbelievable. This
It's like watching KCI. He's like, he starts the turn with nothing on board, and suddenly he drew a million cards and has a million permanents in play.
And now, I mean, Vieira doesn't even have to send with a Young Pyromancer if he sniffs out that Settle the Wreckage here. No, he's going to anyway. He's got enough value. Going to chase down that Gideon of the Trials.
Yeah, so...
Oh my goodness, he doesn't pull the trigger.
Diego is going to take a gamble.
Yeah.
He's going to count on Eduardo making a mistake, and he's going to try to get all the creatures inside of the wreckage next turn.
Oh, I'm really interested to see how this goes, because Palisa is drawing so badly, by the way. He's found another land. What a stinker for him there. But now if Vieira just goes right-click attack with all, he's going to be in a world of pain. This turn is going to be huge.
So, yeah, I mean, let's see what Eduardo does.
Oh, no. Oh, no, it's everything.
Oh, he fell for the
he's
trap.
absolutely
All right,
Diego.
Weapon. Nice. See the risk paying off for him.
And
Good play, man.
Diego Palisa is just like, hey, buddy, how do you like apples? He's like, mate, I love them. And he goes, how do you like these apples?
Wow,
Vamos, escucha. My goodness.
That's how he starts a comeback. Now, Eduardo still has a lot of resources. He has a bunch of Lingering Souls in his graveyard. But that was step 1 of the comeback tour for Diego.
So Vieira now has to go hunting. What can he find? I mean, is there anything that he can do to negate the impact of this Settle the Wreckage? At the moment, it's exiling 6 creatures.
No, I don't see it. Maybe... Yeah, I think he's just going to take the punch and try to rebuild it with Lingering Souls.
So hang on, did he just... He didn't just fetch out that Sacred Foundry, did he?
So, Minimorphos... I wonder what... Okay, so he's just getting the trigger from the Young Pyromancer before.
Oh, I see.
Side.
Okay, all right. That makes more sense. Okay. I thought, because the way he was searching, it looked like he'd gone and got a Sacred Foundry, but no, not quite. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to thin out his deck to increase the odds of drawing a spell instead of Slan here.
Yep. All right, so Young Pyromancer creates a little curtain call there. But this is just an enormous Settle the Wreckage here. It's going to be fantastic for Palisa.
Okay, he's firing up more spells.
Okay, all right, so trying to get value where he can.
Yeah.
Discard a card, but again, a Cryptic Command.
That's got to hurt for Diego, right?
That's, well, now we've got players on relatively even footing, because these 1/1s now represent a much smaller threat as Vieira goes searching for basics. And at this stage, I mean, if he's got 6 more basics to add to the battlefield, it doesn't make too much of a difference. Then if he draws a Bedlam Reveler and can continue to chain things together, as it turns out, he only gets an extra swamp. So
yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, you can see how small his deck already is.
Yeah, that's right. Jeez. So, Palisa having a look at what's going on in Vieira's graveyard there. And Lingering Souls going to round out the turn there for Vieira. But one of the biggest settles I've seen.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, it was not a risk. It was a risk. It could have backfired for him, for instance, if he protected Gideon and drew into a Supreme Verdict, he would have regretted the line he took. But, you know, I love seeing players taking risks, making gambles to work themselves out of difficult situations.
I think he's just drawn a Bedlam Reveler off the top here. So Mystic
Eduardo.
Gate.
Yeah.
Mystic Gate in the hand of Palisa here. And now, as the coast is clear, oh yeah, look at this.
Okay.
Masterful play. Masterful
Keeps
play.
coming.
Yeah. Just draw the best card in your deck when you need to. That's how you win games of Magic.
I mean, what was he going to draw? Lands? There aren't even any more lands in his deck.
Yeah. Back to Palisa now, who faces down quite a respectable token army with absolutely stone cold nothing in hand, just a Mystic Gate. We'll see what he draws for this turn. Of course, that Cryptic would have been very useful had it not been Inquisition, but no, sir.
Yeah, that top deck Inquisition of Kozilek is also so huge for Eduardo.
So Vieira now, unafraid.
Okay.
Unafraid.
All right, you got me on. Whatever does, have it again, right?
Hasn't learned his lesson, but I think this time it's going to pay off. It looks like Palisa not holding on to anything that's going to help him here. It's a lightning bolt. Is that a mana leak or a negate in hand? It looks like it's not enough. And Diego Polisa goes down in game number 1. Wow, that one had some real thrills and spills, huh?
Yeah, that was pretty good. Like, you can think this game was a blowout for Eduardo, but he only got in that spot because of his timely Thoughtseize on Jace the Mind Sculptor. And then Diego, great call to try to come back. Can't wait to see what those guys are going to go for games 2 and 3.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how things change post-board. Vieira is going to have a nice amount of disruption to bring in. Maybe there's some extra hand disruption or something else to get it done. I can see some extra pressure now. Hazoret the Fervent coming in by the look of things, and a Molten Rain. Love to see that against those Celestial Colonnades. Kambal, the console of allocation, is a really good way to punish these creature light strategies, Lucas.
Yeah, it's really just another threat that he can add to the board. And Diego, I mean, he has a lot of answers to creatures, but Cabal is still going to be better than the Fatal Push that Eduardo would rather have in his deck. Hazoret, a very interesting choice for Eduardo, something that I don't remember seeing in sideboards of this Mardu Pyromancer deck. I think it's probably not going to be at its best against a deck with Path to Exile and Settle the Wreckage, but he can just leave it in play and discard cards to try to play it on Settle. And again, just another threat is always going to be better than a spot removal spell that his main deck configuration was filled with. When I was talking earlier how it was going to be an uphill battle for Eduardo, that mainly applied for game 1. For game 2, as happens with all mid-range decks, he's really able to reconfigure his deck to fight whatever he wants.
White-blue control has, plenty of decent options out of the sideboard. I think white, obviously, the best sideboard color in the entire format. Looks like Rest in Peace is coming in as well. I like that in the face of Faithless Looting and things like Bedlam Reveler. Although, I mean, okay, here's a question. Lucas. When you bring in a Rest in Peace in a deck with Snapcaster Mages, what do you do with the Snapcasters? It's such a hard decision.
Yeah, I think, okay, so specifically against Mardu Pyromancer, he doesn't have to cast Rest in Peace by turn 2.
Okay.
He just has to do it after Faithless Looting that discards the Lingering Souls, or the turn before Eduardo is going to have enough instant and sorceries in his graveyard to cast Bedlam Reveler. So this gives him some wiggle room to try to get value from Snapcaster Mage, maybe by flashing back an Opt or Serum Visions. But it's really going to depend overall, like how many more sideboards cards he wants to bring it in. You can see I saw Gideon there. That's Planeswalker, something that he's looking forward to bringing to. And maybe if enough of that cards, then Snapcaster Mage, maybe it's too much of a risk for him leaving the deck.
Looks like Police is going to put the finishing touches on that.
You can see Logic Knots too as a card that he's taking out, which is another spell that gets worse because of Rest in Peace. So it's not a free roll Rest in Peace, right?
No, not at all. I mean, I don't like playing when I'm building my white-blue decks. I don't play Rest in Peace. I much prefer Relic of Progenitus, just because it gives you a lot more control over when and how you manage graveyards.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for me. I imagine when he was building his sideboard, he thought he needed something that hits very hard against Dredge, that won the last Grand Prix, and Hollow one. But now that he needs something to attack the graveyard against a mid-range deck, you can see how awkward Rest in Peace is for him.
So these guys are going to shuffle up and go to game number 2 here at GP Sao Paulo. My name's Riley Knight, joined by Lucas Bertu, the Grand Prix National and Pro Tour champion. Got quite a long resume. One of the shining stars of the Brazilian community. Big deal for an event like this to be taking place in your hometown, Lucas.
Oh, I love it. I love being able to show around my hometown to our international guests. I love to talk about my community, my friends that are playing out there. It's really a special event. It's an opportunity to see longtime friends that maybe I don't get to see throughout the year. Just super happy to have the annual Grand Prix here in São Paulo. I
think Brazil is one of those nations that people in the Magic world, at least, people take very seriously. You've got some of the best players in the world. We've got Paulo Vida Dama da Rosa. We've got the list continues with some pretty big names, Willie Adel, and you guys, I think, for for the players and the community that you have are really well represented on the world stage.
Yeah, that's nice of you to say, Riley. I think Brazil, it's a large country, but it doesn't have a large number of Magic players.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
So to see those players like Paulo, like Willie, like Carlos Román, like Chaco Saporito, and myself to go out and do well at the international stage. I think we are overrepresented at the highest level.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like I feel like Brazil as a nation, I don't know if punches above its weight is the best way to say it, but you guys are really a powerhouse of international Magic, so it must be a huge deal for a GP like this to be taking place as a 25th anniversary celebration for Magic here.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we see our friends from Argentina doing well too. Salvador, the Pro Tour winner, Pozo, the Standard Master. We have a guy like Francisco Cifuentes that is playing a feature match right now. He's trying to make a name for himself too. It's really cool to take down the world.
Let's get underway now with game number 2 here between Palisa and Vieira. Vieira, of course, handily winning game number 1 after a bunch of clutch draws and discard spells getting it done. Here's a Spreading Seas, and once again, this is the tech. This is the tech. I love it. I love to see it. Spreading Seas used instead of the land that it actually replaces makes the battlefield so much clearer, although it doesn't look like Vieira's actually committing it to it this time.
Yeah, just a lot of inconsistency in his play.
Well, we'll see if that's going to change here. Serum Visions now for Palisa. Going to draw a card, Scry 2. And Spreading Seas, part of that land disruption package that you were talking about before, Lucas, in terms of just keeping decks like Tron, I guess greedy mana bases, keeping creature lands in check. It's a really useful thing to have, especially when, at its worst, it's a 2 mana draw card.
Yeah, dealing with utility lands like a flipped Search for a Scanta is also a big deal.
Oh yeah.
It's one of the reasons why this blue-white control deck might be favored against his Jeskai counterpart. He can fight the mana battle a little bit better.
So Palisa is the victim of a collective brutality, another card I love to see out of the sideboards. Here's Jace the Mind Sculptor, however, and Vieira just doesn't have anything to say about it.
Yeah, Vieira missed his land drop and now facing Jace.
It's not looking good.
Not looking good.
Not looking good. Looks like Palisa's in the driver's seat here, or maybe Jace is the one behind the wheel.
Yeah, I saw Lightning Bolt from Eduardo. He could use it to take down Jace, but he needs to draw a red source right now.
There he is. Our little Jaso Redentor.
Nothing. Spreading is just doing a lot of work.
Yeah,
here.
all of a sudden, really, is just it's locked up so much of Vieira's hand, and he has to discard. Wow, this is not good here. This is not good for Vieira, and Palisa, I think, just needs to. Well, I mean, if I were in his seat, I'd be looking to end the game as quick as possible. Start Fate Sealing, get it done. Let's go.
Yeah, I saw. So Diego is making a really good heads-up play here. He's taking Jace out of Lightning Bolt range.
Yeah.
And of course, he's incentivized that because Eduardo is mana screwed. He can keep spell on top, and Eduardo's not drawing a lot of it.
No! What an absolute annihilation. Just insult to injury here for Eduardo Vieira, because, of course, there's nothing worse than your opponent Fate Sealing and just going, you know what? That one can stay there. That one's all good.
Yeah.
Oh, no. So Vieira now is just going to back him.
He's even taking the spread. He says with him. All right.
He has had enough. That was an absolute annihilation there for Palisa. Not only able to land and capitalize on that Jace uncontested, but completely went to town in his opponent's mana. And, yeah, an absolute complete... overloading of what Vieira was up to there, unable to answer it.
Yeah, right. So Diego, he was on the back foot that first game. He did his best to try and come back. He still fell short because Eduardo drew well out of his spot. So having a quick game 2 win for Diego has to be a boost of morale. He's going to feel a lot better coming to game 3.
I have to say, Lucas, I've very much enjoyed my visit to Brazil so far. Got in a little earlier in the week, went over to Rio.
Nice.
And are you a big fan of Rio? Or?
Yeah, I like there. As a tourist, I like going there.
Yeah, I had a fantastic time. I went up and saw old mate Big Jesus.
Right.
On the, what is it, the Covacado?
Corcovado.
Oh, Corcovado, excuse me, the Hunchback.
Yeah, that's it.
Climbed up to the top of that. Took a path through the jungle, which I didn't know you could do, but it was fantastic.
Oh, I never done that. That's cool.
Have to say, the statue's not that big.
No, but the view from up there.
The view is incredible.
It's what makes the site.
Oh my goodness me!
Yeah.
Oh my goodness me! It was beautiful, and it was this beautiful hazy day in Rio. So I got some amazing snaps as the sun went down, and then out of nowhere, just started raining. Like not even sort of sprinkling, like huge, big, fat drops of rain out of absolutely nowhere. I mean, I guess it's a sort of tropical climate here, but in the middle of winter,
it's not raining season.
No, it was crazy.
Someone was just aiming for you there.
But do you get to travel around Brazil too much? It's a massive country.
Yeah, I do enjoy going to the south of the Brazil, where it's a little bit colder. There's some good places there. Porto Alegre is a city that I really enjoy going. So you've been in Brazil, so you kind of got to experience what was the mood around the World Cup. I know maybe you're not a big soccer guy.
No, not at all. But
yeah, I imagine you could see, everything was green and yellow. You could see people yelling on top of their lungs when Brazil scores.
Yeah.
And you could also sense, the collective disappointment that was the loss yesterday.
Yeah, it was quite an experience for me. Of course, as I mentioned, Australians, we only really pretend to care about soccer. and the thing is, the other thing about Australian soccer is we have so many immigrants come over to Australia, right? So after the Second World War, bunch of Italians, bunch of even Germans to a lesser extent, but a lot of Italians, a lot of Greeks come over, right?
Right.
And so whenever the World Cup is taking place in Australia, all the people are watching there, they're cheering for Australia, whatever, but it's Italy and it's Greeks who get the people really out there on the streets. So not a huge amount of energy for the soccer in Australia, but over here yesterday, amazing to see. Even though you picked up a loss, just the energy.
Yeah, that collective disappointment, something we haven't seen as a nation ever since Carlos Ramon lost to Shota Yazuka at the finals of Pro Tour Kaladesh.
Yeah, very similar attitude on the streets of Rio, Move on to game number 3 now with Diego Palisa and Eduardo Vieira all locked up 1-1. Looks like Thoughtsees is going to remove this detention sphere. I like detention sphere in this matchup. Just a nice, clean answer, especially in the face of something like a young Pyromancer. And, this Vieira's deck is one that plays a lot of 4-ofs as well.
Yeah, so Vieira, he fired off his Faithless Looting, already discarded Lingering Souls, which is exactly what he needs to do. And a second Faithless Looting, which is a card that does get worse in multiple, so he got the perfect pitch there. Now he's going to apply some pressure with Lingering Souls, not a huge amount of it, but just enough that Diego has to start worrying about it and trying to stabilize. And of course, if at any point he wants to add a Planeswalker, the tokens will be ready to attack.
Lingering Soul is just one of those cards, just super annoying to have to deal with. There's very few real clean answers to it. It's very difficult, especially as a blue-white deck. You want something like a Detention Sphere as to just answer it 1-for-1. I mean, remanding the flashback side of it feels very good, but those two little 1-1s, it's surprising how much work they can get done. Yeah,
the game's going to go long. They're going to stay on the board and they're going to keep being annoying.
Police are happy to play draw go here as we see another Flooded Strand come down for him. So what Vieira's up to now, looks like he might go and fetch out his Sacred Foundry.
So no Gideon from Diego, which would be his preferred third entry play. But at least he's now bluffing a counterspell, or maybe he has a counterspell. And Eduardo might have to think how he's going to play his fourth turn.
Looks like a very land-heavy hand. We saw quite a few lands revealed to that Inquisition previously. So we'll see what Police has got to say about this next turn after Vieira is done with it. Dreadbore off the top. Nice answer to opposing Planeswalkers. Engineered Explosives also been brought in for Vieira.
Okay, that's very interesting for me. Maybe he got too scared of the spreading his last game and he wants a clean answer for that. Or maybe he wants to cast it for 3 and deal with Gideon.
So Metamorphose is going to draw a card here, Lucas. Metamorphose has kind of gone up and up in the Mardu decks. We saw it as a 1-of, a 2-of. I mean, some decks are even playing up to 4.
So it has 2 roles. First, it's an instant that's going to be in a graveyard for Battleland Reveler to be easier to cast. And second, if you have a Blood Moon, you can cast your colored spells through it. The downside of it is that Humans is a popular deck, and if they have Italian to play, it's going to be kind of awkward to see it with Metamorphose in your hand.
This hand is looking much better now for Police. He's really improved upon it. Last time we saw it, still 3 lands, but hey, that's fine. We've got Cryptic, and Timely Reinforcements, all 3 of which I think are going to be fantastic here. And a difficult decision now for Vieira, who, I mean, if you take the Cryptic, there's still the second one. If you take the Timely Reinforcements, he's got 2 Cryptics. I don't like this position here for Vieira.
Yeah, Diego chose not to cast his Timely Reinforcements last turn. Diego, of course, Eduardo is going to take the powerful Cryptic command. That's the card advantage engine for Diego.
Bit of an issue here for now for Vieira, because if he pushes, well, and now Police goes down to 17, or down to 16, I should say, thanks to that fetch land. So he's going to go right back up to 22. if he wants to play that timely reinforcements, although that does take him off Cryptic. So what do you think here?
So, I keep wondering about his choice not to play that card because of 2 Cryptic commands, which is a card that you want to cast when you're able to. Now, he doesn't have a good window of opportunity to cast these timely reinforcements anymore. Maybe he just felt the main reason he adds it to his deck is for the life gain and not for the creatures. So he's going to save it for the last moment.
Path to Exile at the top, you can see Polisa playing with cards upside down in his hand to show which cards Vieira has seen here. I want to ask you about the engineered explosives in Vieira's deck. What has he brought these in for? Is this just to destroy Rest in Peace?
I think it's a powerful, in general, it's a powerful card against burgers in any creature deck, really. Against blue-white control, I think, Rest in Peace is something that I haven't considered before. That could be the reason. Some versions also play Secure the Wastes. That is a powerful finisher for the land game.
Okay.
And that takes out that avenue. But maybe it just comes down to Eduardo plays a lot of Lightning Bolts, Fatal Pushes, and cards that are not that great against blue-white control. So he just thought, might as well bring...
Just second, sure. I guess it's a nice flexible answer. It's just, it's funny, when you think, I need to kill their Rest in Peace, I better bring my engineered explosives. That's not the line of take. Like, you bring in the Wear Tear before you bring in the EE.
Yeah, right. So another Collective Brutality. Eduardo is going to choose to play it, even though Diego has the mana for a Cryptic command. The reason he might be doing that is because he has a second spell that he might want to cast this turn. That could be the reason.
So Cryptic, counter draw. And now an EE looks like for 0? No, for 2. What?
Yeah, so that's the Engineer Explosive, and then the Battleland Reveler.
Okay.
So you can see the Collective Brutality just allowing him to play the Reveler through a Cryptic command.
Nice one there for Vieira. Just played out there. Despite having tokens of his own, it's better to have it on the battlefield than in the bin. So he plays it just because. And now Bedlam Reveler as a 3/4 refills his hand. Polisa in a little bit of trouble. He's not dead in the water, of course, but he does have to find a way forward, facing off against quite a respectable board here. Looks like he's going to start things off with, is that a Spreading Seas?
Yeah, he has a lot of resources in hand. He's going to try to fight back. But actually spending his mana on that Spreading Seas maybe is not what he wanted to start his turn with. At least he's going to see more cards to try to find something more powerful to combat what Eduardo is doing.
So it's going to be the timely reinforcements we saw earlier here, Lucas.
All right, so he's gaining the life, the 6 life from it, and the creatures. He's not going to be able to use them to trade with the Battleland Reveler, but he has a lot of champ blockers at least. So that's really a lot of time, which is good. Time is what Diego needs.
So there they are, soldier tokens. And again, as you say, not going to be able to trade up against that 3/4, but can still hold it off for the time being. Let's get a prowess trigger happening now with this Faithless Looting. And a Wear Tear off the top.
Yeah, Eduardo doesn't seem to have that many extra lands to discard, so considering discarding just 2 lands or Faithless Looting on a land, I think, if I start right.
We do apologise for the hyperflexion that is going on with your necks as you rotate them 90 degrees to the left, ladies and gentlemen. But Wear Tear is, again, one of my favourite sideboard cards. The versatility, the flexibility.
And the power when you can get both modes to be good in a single matchup.
Mate. Incredible stuff. Here is now a Bedlam Reveler getting across uncontested. Nice one here. Vieira looking to sacrifice those 1/1 tokens of his own in order to connect. And I like this. This keeps the clock ticking.
Yeah, the line shows the respect he has for blue-white controls late game power. He just wants to shorten the clock and go aggressive. That's a good strategic decision by him. Diego, okay, that's an interesting one. He's going to use Jace to draw cards. It's going to die to the Battleland Reveler, but really, what choice did he have? Like, bounce, it's going to not be good. He really hopes to find a path to exile here. Yeah. That would be perfect for him.
The other card he could find potentially, if he has a second land, is Celestial Purge.
Right.
I did see him bring that in, and that card, oh my goodness, another card I just love to see out of the board. So good against Jund, against Hollow One, against Mardu Pyromancer, against Burn. There are so many relevant cards that Celestial Purge can deal with. Yeah,
the power of flexibility, having something that's good in multiple matchups has a lot of value in a format like Modern.
Looks like Polisa doesn't have it in this situation here, as we see a second Celestial Colonnade come down. A Faithless Looting is going to pump up this Bedlam Reveler to a 4-5 once again. And Vieira has some decisions to make about what he wants to discard. Just to clarify for viewers around the world, of course, that Spreading Seas is attached to the Blood Crypt. Vieira is choosing to use the Spreading Seas as a sort of stand-in land. I have to say, I really like it as just as an extra bit of clarity here.
Yeah, just another cool factor about Eduardo. You can see his life pad. He writes it upside down. It's just how he does it.
Just how he rolls.
Yeah.
And there's the Path to Exile now on the Bedlam Reveler. Good stuff for Polisa.
Yeah.
But now he has to face down this fella.
Yeah, so he's a healthy life total, but Kembal is going to keep doing some work and he's going to keep attacking Jace. He really wishes it was a 3-2 right now, but it's still something relevant that he has on the board. I think Diego finding that Path to Exile was really important by him. It's exactly what he needed.
I think it would have been very difficult. I mean, he would have had to continue to string together and just hope for that lucky break, start to string together something there. But yeah, the Jace, Brainstorm, into Path, yeah, worked out pretty well. Yeah,
now he has Jace going. Possibly for multiple turns, he can defend it now.
Untapping with a Jace against a battlefield that isn't too heavily contested by your opponent. Always a good feeling here, Lucas, and a Wrath of God off the top. So that Kambal can depart stage left should Polisa decide to pull the trigger on that one.
So the Mardu deck, as we saw, it's very good at cycling through his deck and trying to find the cards it need. But it doesn't have a lot of answers to Planeswalker. One of those answers was the Dreadboard that Eduardo discarded to the first Battle Reveler. So I'm not even sure how many outs he has to Jace. Maybe he sideboarded out all the Lightning Bolts too. It's something that I would expect him to do in that matchup. So when he's in a position that he needs to kill the Jace through attacking, and Diego has the time and the mana to fight through it, I think Jace can take over this game.
So a Brainstorm whacks 2 cards back on top after having drawn 3. Let's see what the next move is. Might be this Wrath of God. Yeah, really does respect the Kambal. And
yeah.
You're nodding. You like this play here, Lucas.
Yeah, just keep the board clear and keep drawing cards. That's what Blue-White wants to do.
And a Rest in Peace now, just to really ram the point home. And Vieira, I think he's in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, he had a Battle Reveler in hand that he would really like to cast this turn, but that Rest in Peace that he brought from his sideboard, it's doing what it is supposed to do here. In the top deck, Hazoret.
Oh, Hazoret's really nice.
Eduardo! Out of the top of his deck.
Jeez, that's huge now.
Wow, huge. One of the few outs he had left in his deck.
And like an absolute champion.
We have a game again.
He peels the 5-4. Hasty Boy comes across, gets rid of that Jason Mind Sculptor. Hasty Goddess, I should say.
That was amazing for him.
And now, Polisa, he's now the one who has to finance it. Now, look, he does have several, right? Path to Exile, Celestial Purge, plenty of ways to get rid of it, but this Hazoret could prove to be ultimately decisive if Vieira can continue to capitalize.
Yeah, I think Diego is shown himself to be a very strong player. I think he will be able to navigate his deck and try to find an out for Hazoret. Okay, so he has a bunch of cycling cards in hand. He needs to find it on top of his deck too.
So, Scry 2 now, after having drawn a card. And there's another Jace and a Supreme Verdict. Neither of them do too much against Hazoret the Fervent, however.
No, one line he could take is bounce Hazoret with Jace and then try to counter it. The problem is he doesn't have Logic Knots in his deck anymore.
Yeah.
So he has to do that Cryptic Command maybe, or Essence Scatter if he plays that. I'm not even sure.
So again now, a Spreading Seas draws a Hallowed Fountain number 2 here.
Yeah, he's going after the basics just in case Eduardo has Blood Moon in his deck, which is unlikely, but it's not like he can't get out Eduardo completely from a color anyways.
And another Spreading Seas. Now he's going to take care of another Black Source. Only the Blackcleave Cliffs remaining as Vieira's single way to cast black spells. And Polisa plays a Hallowed Fountain. He has Hallowed Fountain Supreme Verdict in hand. And he's going to take a pasting. Oh, sorry, excuse me, Glacial Fortress in hand. And he's going to take a pasting from this Hazoret. Yeah,
that's 7 damage right there if Eduardo chooses to discard, which means Diego could be dead next turn unless he starts jump blocking with Celestial kind of late.
What a turnaround here for Vieira. That Hazoret proving to be enormously important. And another land off the top for Polisa. This might be it. This might be it.
He's in chump block mode. What a roller coaster of a game here we had. Eduardo choose not to. Oh, I couldn't see if he scored or not.
I don't think he did. No,
Okay.
he's still got that Bedlam Reveler in hand, right? Yeah, there it is.
Right, yeah, he's actually close to hard guessing it, so maybe that's why he chose to keep it in hand.
So he obviously needs to get rid of one of the cards in hand, otherwise he can
discard both.
We're going to have a Yam Wing Chun situation. No, it's just going to be a Thought Seize. Okay.
Yeah, just playing around Settle the Wreckage.
He learned his lesson.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
And so now Celestial Colonnade is going to have to jump in the way of Hazoret the Fervent. And the 4/4 blocks the 5/4, of course. She's indestructible, so she's going to stick around for another tilt at the crown. Let's see what Police can find. Off the top. It's a Mana League. Wow, wow.
Nah. He still has another chump block. It's not over yet.
Not over yet. Whoa, 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 whoa. Eduardo Vieira, have you learned nothing, my friend?
Yeah.
And Diego Polisa channeling his inner Paulo Vida Dama de Rosa here. And now, okay, looks like he's going to get away with it this time.
Okay, so, players talk to it and figure out what's happening.
So, blocks from the Celestial Colonnade. And now Polisa, he has to find it. He has to find something. My friend.
Last turn.
Last chance.
Keep this awesome game going.
Let's see. What are his outs here? Path to Exile.
Path to Exile is the cleanest out. Maybe the Celestial Purge you mentioned. Maybe a Cryptic Command to buy a few more turns.
Settle the Wreckage.
Settle the Wreckage, of course.
Polisa needs the top card of his library.
Of course, Snapcaster Mage is not an out anymore because of Rest in Peace.
No, I mean, it can chump block for one turn, but even then, that's not the game you want to be playing.
Yeah.
You need an answer. Here we go. One time, Diego Polisa. Is this the time to cash in that one time?
That would be a good time for it, yeah.
Yep. Well, let's see what he can find here as Vieira is... Oh, it looks like we're going to see a hard cast Bedlam Reveler here. Nice one. But a Mana League. Oh,
okay.
He got him!
All right.
It's not often you see an 8-drop Mana League, my friends, but there you go. Off the top. It's a Path to Exile. He found it.
We keep it going. What a game.
It. Oh, truly. Magic the Gathering, a skill-based game, my friends, as we see a... Oh, yeah, Vieira knew. He knew. Of course you drew it. And Polisa is going to keep the train rolling on 8 life. It's a respectably high life total. He was able to deal with the Bedlam Reveler with his Mana Leak being relevant on turn 15.
Yeah, who would have thought that top deck Mana Leak would do so much work at that stage of the game.
Unbelievable. Vieira would have been better just discarding it to Hazoret.
What a great game.
So now...
It's top deck mode.
With a clutch top deck here for Polisa. But you've got to favour Polisa, right?
Yeah, Eduardo, I think he has one draw ahead of him, which was not a relevant card. So, Polisa, I think he's ahead in that kind of game.
I think there are so many cards that just do so little for Vieira now. Like, if he draws a Faithless Looting, that's just terrible.
It's going to take forever for it to be relevant.
And now he has no black sources? Oh, no, he's got a Swamp left.
All right. Because of that perfect giant, he didn't have it before.
Of course, yeah. So Vieira goes a-hunting. Let's see if he has another basic. Nope, doesn't have one. All right. And this is one of the advantages we see of Field of Ruin being played in white-blue control. They just have so many basics, and so often the Field of Ruin is going to be a Stone Rain that replaces itself. It's going to be a Wasteland plus.
Yeah, a lot of decks has one, maybe two basics, which they get with their first Path to Exile, and then Field of Ruin is just a free roll.
Oh, and another black source here for Vieira. That's nice.
Yeah, the thing is, Vieira has a lot of bad top decks. Like, his discard spells are not going to do enough. While Diego is just going to draw cards that are going to let him draw more cards.
Yeah, man, this is not good stuff for Vieira here as we see a Serum Visions. Going to keep that Field of Ruin on top. I like that as we see now Supreme Verdict hit the bin. Oh, sorry, go below decks, I should say. Was that... Surely that wasn't a timely reinforcements in hand. You just slam that if that's the case, right?
He needs Eduardo to have more creatures than him for it to create the tokens. Maybe he just didn't want to fight for the life game mode.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. So now, yep, Field of Ruin.
Keep attacking the lands. I mean, as you pointed out, it's the card he chose to keep on top of his deck. So He figures that the land control plan is still relevant at this stage of the game.
I think it's really good because it means if Vieira has something like a Liliana or the Veil, it's just going to be absolutely atrocious. And now we see no value gained off that timely reinforcements there. Vieira says go. Doesn't escalate the collective brutality off the top. It's a Teferi. There we go. This is what Polisa wanted here.
Hero of Dominaria. Hero for Jaeger.
Yes, absolutely. Upstairs, untap 2 lands, draw a card, and now all of a sudden Polisa way out in front.
I don't... Okay, Eduardo, he's very capable at fighting out of these spots, but it's going to be tough. I think... Is that a Bedlam Reveler lands in hand?
Bedlam Reveler in hand here for Vieira.
Only 7 lands in play, so he can't cast it.
And he's
because of that land structure for Jaeger.
No. Wow, he's really done a fantastic job here. Now away goes a Sacred Foundry. Vieira shuffles his library. No cards left, of course. Police are unable to go after that Swamp. Field of Ruin only hits non-basics.
So now the main concern for Diego, I think, is how he closes this game in 5 minutes. He had to jump block with his Celestial Cannonades. The card he's looking for might be the Secured Wastes.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the option of Snapcaster Beatdown.
Kambal now for Polisa.
Okay, you have to imagine he has an out for it.
And he has to answer it in some way, right? Draws a card. Going to go upstairs with Teferi up to 7. Draw a card once again. Settle the Wreckage in hand now for Polisa. Bunch of other cards. Can get a good look at what was going on in his hand here. But a Supreme Verdict is going to just clean up the Kambal. Take 2.
Funny enough, these 2 life for Eduardo are the most relevant part right now because it's going to keep him out of range for whatever threat Jago is trying to find in this last 4 minutes of the game.
Now, Search for Azcanta, not the greatest card with a Rest in Peace.
Yeah, it's
just a
little bit awkward.
Every turn, basically. Let's have a look at the top card, see if he wants it. Nope, going to exile that Path to Exile. And Teferi up to 8. So now the biggest enemy for Polisa is the clock. 3-4 minutes, as you can see there, for him to wrap this one up. It's doable. I think he can do it.
Yeah, if he has Secured Weights, he absolutely can do it. And let's see.
Oh,
all right. That's another way to do it too.
Easy game.
Yeah.
Easy game. We've got a big cheer squad behind us as well, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to hear them coming through the microphones. They're dancing like a bunch of buffoons. But I tell you what, Diego Polisa's fans are out in force here. I tell you what a spirited people you Brazilians are.
Yeah, well-earned victory for Diego. All right, there you go.
Listen to them go, absolutely loving it. Baneslayer Angel taking it home for Team Rock and Roll, and Diego Polisa after a game that had more backs and, oh my goodness,
incredible game.
All over the place, right?
Awesome. Yeah, great game. Great plays by Diego. Great plays by Eduardo too. What a fantastic match.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be one of the I mean, we're in game number 3 here. Round number 3 here, Lucas, and we're already seeing some of the most incredible magic you're likely to see all weekend. It's what a matchup and what a match we saw.
Yeah, we saw interesting decks. We saw interesting games. Really great start to this Grand Prix.
So, my friends, that is just about that for round number 3. We are going to take a quick break, of course. After this, we'll see if we've got time for some Time Walk Magic. Depends on how our tournament is going overall. But we will, of course, be back before too much longer. We do have some commercials to show. Lucas, thanks so much for joining us for this round. Of course, you'll be back in just a few moments. We'll see how things go in our next round here at GP Sao Paulo. Don't go anywhere.